I am happy to have Automotive Seminars as a sponsor for the show. Now, if you're not familiar, Automotive Seminars is a diagnostic technician training company. They've got a website that there'll be a link to in the show notes. And what they offer is top-notch training to technicians like us in the field. I've been taking their training courses for years and have got a ton of benefit out of it. They've got top-notch instructors, John Thornton, Scott Shotton, Scott Manna, and every other month they've got a 2-night course that you can sign up for. Join in, ask questions, and afterwards, you've paid for the course, you can access a recorded version whenever you want. You can rewatch the class 2 years later in case you wanted some details on it, and that is a fantastic feature. So make sure to check out the website to see what courses they have available and what's coming up in the future. This podcast is brought to you by Jarhead Diagnostics. Jarhead Diagnostics manufactures in-house diagnostic equipment and storage solutions, as well as distributes for companies like Pico, ATS, and TopDon. One of my favorite tools that I've bought from Brandon and Jarhead Diag is the case for the U-Scope. If you don't have a U-Scope, you probably should, but if you have one, you got to get one of these 3D printed cases, has a magnet on it, has a full-size BNC lead that you can connect to, and it gets rid of the weak point of that scope, which is the mini BNC connection, which is pretty fragile. This case makes this thing nice and secure and makes it an even better tool than it was. So check out jarheaddiag.com. The link is in the show notes. This episode is brought to you by L1 Automotive Training and Keith Perkins. If you're looking for education on module programming, J2534, EEPROM work, key and immobilizer, electrical diagnostics, or drivability diagnostics, Keith has a website, l1training.com, that's got over 60 hours of training videos on all those subjects and more. When I first started out doing mobile, I utilized Keith's videos on module programming in J2534 in order to get my head wrapped around what I would need for the tooling, the computers, the software setups, what kind of obstacles I would be up against when I'm out there programming modules on cars. And it was a huge benefit to me. And I continue to use the training videos that he has on his website. So I strongly recommend checking out l1training.com. We have got Auto Rescue Tools and Isaac Rodell as a sponsor for this podcast. Hey guys, if you're looking for programming laptops, you want the laptop set up ready to go for programming control modules on vehicles, you need key cutting equipment, you need diagnostic tools, Isaac is your guy. Has all that stuff available for purchase, and the support that he offers along with the purchase has been outstanding. I bought some stuff from him in the past. I got my Dolphin key cutting tool from him several years back. And again, the support has been phenomenal. Helped me out along the way with anything additional I needed to make it work for me. Also, for the month of June 2023, they've got Autel updates for sale. So make sure to check that out as well. Again, that's autorescuetools.com. The link will be in the show notes. Hey, what's going on, automotive world? This is the Automotive Diagnostic Podcast. I've got another tech tip for you today. I know I haven't been putting out these tech tips recently in the last month or so, but I've been very busy. So I'll try to get these up as often as I can. Today's tip is going to be pretty short and to the point, and just a reminder, these episodes are exactly that. There's no intro music, no outro music, just a quick tip that hopefully helps you out somewhere along the way. Today's tip is about Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep. I don't know if I'd include Fiat in this one, even though it is Chrysler Fiat. Anyways, what this is if you're dealing with any type of module that's having some strange issues, I don't want you to forget that there's an option to do a module reset on most of the CAN
Chrysler vehicles. So I'm sure it extends beyond this range, but the vehicles that I've seen within this year range is 2008-ish up to about 14. After that, there's newer Chrysler vehicles. I haven't used this method with those. You probably can, but let me explain what this is. When you go into any particular module, and this could be, engine control module, it could be your instrument cluster, it could be your wireless control module, along with all the options you have in the scan tool, like clear codes or read codes or live data or special functions, module information, within the special functions tab, at least that's how it's listed in Autel. It might be like miscellaneous functions on another scan tool. But if you go into basically your bidirectional controls, there is an option for a module reset. And you can do this through aftermarket tools. You can do this with the Autel. I know I've done it several times. You can do it with the Launch. And obviously you can do it with the factory setup, the YTech MicroPod setup, if you have that. It is under a different section. If you're using the YTech, you have to go to the guided diagnostics? It's over on the left side of the screen. Anyways, you can still find it in there. Now, why I'm talking about this is I've had a couple modules recently where this was a kind of a quick fix to remedy some problems that I was having that seemed kind of weird. The first one was a Town and Country minivan, and the problem that the shop was having was that the cluster was basically just blank. There was nothing there, and you could communicate with it, you could see data PIDs, but the cluster just seemed to be dead. And we went through some checks and weren't really able to see anything. And I believe the shop actually did a capacitive discharge. Of course, you got any module that's kind of locked up or doing something strange, don't forget about the capacitive discharge. That can remedy a lot of problems in itself, but I don't think it helped in this case. And what we ended up doing on this was I did that module reset or control module reset to the cluster and immediately came back to life. Now, again, I could communicate with it the whole time. There weren't any codes in it. After that module reset, it started working again. Now, is it going to lock up again at some point or another? Totally possible, but for the time being, it was working the way it was supposed to. Another instance where this has helped me out recently was I programmed a PCM for this was actually a Grand Caravan, so very similar vehicle. The shop had put a new engine control module or powertrain control module in, and I reprogrammed it. And of course, you have to do the reset with your WCM or wireless control module. And this is the module that is going to, it's actually where you put the FOBIX key in order to start the vehicle. And it is a module itself. I think it's also called a WIN module. Different names depending on what you're looking at there. But anyways, once you do the programming for the PCM in these Chrysler vehicles, you'll need the 4-digit PIN. For this era, it was a 4-digit PIN. And then you have to do a reset procedure, basically a handshake between the PCM and this WCM so that the anti-theft can be, basically turned off and allow the engine to run. Well, I've done this many times, and I did that on this vehicle, and it actually started up and ran when I cranked it over afterwards. But the little red light on the dash, which indicates that there's a security anti-theft problem, was blinking, and I had a B2205 in the WCM indicating a original VIN mismatch. And this would happen if you put in a used module on these vehicles. There's going to be VIN mismatch codes. But I went into the PCM, I verified that the correct VIN was programmed into it. I went into the WCM, I verified the correct VIN was put into that. I tried clearing this code several times, did some ignition cycles, let the key be off for a minute or so, turn it back on, try clearing this out. And this code kept coming back immediately every single time. So I'm wondering, is there an issue with the PCM? It was a new part, so, but who knows? And I was going to do a capacitive discharge on this one too. And if you're not familiar, that's taking both battery cables off, touching them together for 30 seconds to a minute, allowing all of that backup power supply to drain down out of all the modules. Again, this has fixed a lot of problems for me in the past, so don't forget about the capacitive discharge as a try. But before I did that, I went to the module reset within the WCM, or basically, I guess I'd consider it the anti-theft module for this vehicle. I did the module reset, and then I was able to clear that code. It went away. The vehicle started and ran the whole time, even when the code was there, but the little red light was blinking. Now that little red light's off. We're good to go. I can finish up with the rest of my programming. So again, the tech tip today to sum this up is on these Chrysler vehicles. If you got something weird going on, this is as easy as a click of a button in your scan tool, and it can be done with aftermarket scan tools. Give that modular reset a try. It may clear up some issues for you. So that's all I've got for you today. Thanks for listening, and check out the new episode that I should have up on Sunday. Till then, let's get out there, start fixing the world one car at a time.